So now we need to start with the next topic, that is antibiotics. Antibiotics produced by microbes are regarded as one of the most significant discoveries of the 20th century and have greatly contributed towards the welfare of human society. Anti is a Greek word that means against and bio means life. Together they mean against life in the context of disease causing organisms, not against we humans. It is against disease causing organisms, whereas with reference to human beings they are pro life and not against. Antibiotics are chemical substances which are produced by some microbes and can kill or retard the growth of other disease causing microbes. Antibiotics produced by microbes are regarded as one of the most significant discoveries of the 20th century. What is the most significant discovery of the 20th century? Antibiotics. Antibiotics have greatly contributed to the welfare of human beings. Anti is a Greek word which means against and bio means life. Together they mean against life in the context of disease causing organisms, whereas with reference to human beings they are pro life and not against. Antibiotics are chemical substances which are produced by some microbes and can kill or retard the growth of other disease causing microbes. So these chemical antibiotics are produced by some microbes. These antibiotics can kill or retard the growth of some disease causing organisms, disease causing microbes. You are familiar with commonly used antibiotic penicillin. Do you know that penicillin was the first antibiotic to be discovered? So what is the first antibiotic to be discovered? Penicillin. And it was a chance discovery by Alexander Fleming, who discovered antibiotic. The first antibiotic is penicillin, and who discovered that it was Alexander Fleming. While working on Staphylococci bacteria, Staphylococci means a cluster of grape-like bunch of bacteria. That is Staphylococci. Staphylococci, not strepto. Strepto means a linear chain. Staphylococci, a bunch of grape type. So that is Staphylococci bacteria was observed once observed a mold growing in one of his unwashed culture plates around which Staphylococci could not grow. He found out that it was due to a chemical produced by the mold, and he named it penicillin after the mold, Penicillium notatum. However, its full potential as an effective antibiotic was established much later by Ernest Chain and Howard Florey. This antibiotic was extensively used to treat American soldiers wounded in World War II. Fleming, Chain, and Florey were awarded the Nobel Prize in 1945 for this discovery. For the discovery, they were awarded Nobel Prize in 1945 during World War II. So, full potential as an effective antibiotic was established much later by Ernest Chain, and Howard Florey. This antibiotic was extensively used to treat American soldiers during World War II. Fleming, Chain, and Florey were awarded Nobel Prize in 1945 for this discovery. After penicillin, another antibiotic was also purified from other microbes. After penicillin, other microbes were also purified from other microbes. After penicillin, other antibiotics were also purified from other microbes. Can you name some other antibiotics and find out their sources? Antibiotics have greatly improved our capacity to treat deadly diseases such as plague, whooping cough, kali khansi, diphtheria, galgotu, and leprosy, Kusht Rog, which used to kill millions all over the globe. Today, we cannot imagine a world without antibiotics, chemicals, enzymes, and other bioactive molecules. Now, we'll discuss this part. Microbes are also used for commercial industrial production of certain chemicals like organic acids, alcohols, and enzymes. So microbes are also used for commercial and industrial production of certain chemicals like organic acids, alcohols, and enzymes. Examples for acid producers are Aspergillus niger. It's a fungus and it produces citric acid. Acetobacter aceti, a bacterium of acetic acid. Clostridium botulicum, a bacterium of butyric acid, butylicum, okay, and Lactobacillus, a bacterium of lactic acid. Aspergillus niger, citric acid. Acetobacter aceti, a bacterium of acetic acid. Clostridium botulicum, a bacterium of butyric acid, and Lactobacillus, a bacterium of lactic acid. See, learn this with the full name so that you can remember. Yeast Saccharomyces cerevisiae is used for commercial production of ethanol. Yeast Saccharomyces cerevisiae is used for commercial production of ethanol. So ethanol is nothing but alcohol. So commercial production of alcohol is yeast Saccharomyces cerevisiae. Microbes are also used for the production of enzymes. Lipases are used in detergent formulations and are helpful in removing oily stains from the laundry. So lipases, they are used in detergent formulations. They remove oily stains in laundry from the laundry. You must have noticed that bottled juices bought from the market are clearer as compared to those at home. Made at home. This is because the bottled juices are clarified by the use of pectinases and proteases. Streptokinase, produced by the bacterium Streptococcus and modified by genetic engineering, is used as clot buster for removing clots from the blood vessels of patients who have undergone myocardial infarction leading to heart attack. जिसके हार्ट वेसल्स में, ब्लड वेसल्स में ब्लड क्लॉट्स होते हैं, तो उसके लिए यूज़ करते हैं स्टेप्टोकाइनेस, जो एक जेनेटिकली मॉडिफाइड बैक्टीरिया कॉल्ड बैक्टीरियम सेप्टोकोकस से बना है. काइनेस मतलब एक एंजाइम है, तो वो क्या करता है, क्लॉट्स को बर्स्ट करता है, क्लॉट्स को डिसॉल्व कर देता है. another bioactive molecule. So another bioactive molecule, cyclosporin A, that is used as an immunosuppressive agent in organ transplant patients, is produced by the fungus Trichoderma polysporum. So cyclosporin A क्या है, immunosuppressive agent in organ transplant patients, is produced by the fungus Trichoderma polysporum. Statins, produced by the yeast Monascus pulphureus, have been commercialized as blood cholesterol lowering agent. It acts by competitively inhibiting the enzyme responsible for synthesis of cholesterol. So another bioactive molecule, that is cyclosporin A, is used as an immunosuppressive agent in organ transplant patients. So organ transplant patients में क्या use करते हैं, cyclosporin A to what, immunosuppressive agent, as an immunosuppressive agent suppressing the immune system in organ transplant patients, is produced by the fungus Trichoderma polysporum. So polyspore ऐसे तो साइक्लोस्पोरिन ए पॉलीस्पोरम. अब ये स्पोर्स क्या करते हैं, इम्यूनोसप्रेसिव एजेंट हैं. Statins, produced by the yeast Monascus pulphureus, have been commercialized as blood cholesterol lowering agents. It acts by competitively inhibiting the enzyme responsible for synthesis of cholesterol. जो कोलेस्ट्रॉल बना रहा है वो एंजाइम के साथ ही कॉम्पिटिटिवली इनहिबिट कर रहा है. Now, microbes in sewage treatment. We know that large quantities of wastewater are generated every day in cities and towns. A major component of this wastewater is human excreta. We know that the large quantities of wastewater are generated every day in cities and towns. A major component of this wastewater is human excreta. This municipal wastewater is also called sewage. It contains large amounts of organic matter and microbes. So we know that large quantities of wastewater are generated every day in cities and towns. A major component of this wastewater is human excreta. This municipal wastewater is also called sewage. It contains large amounts of organic matter and microbes. Organic या inorganic, organic matter and microbes, many of which are pathogenic. Useful microbes? No, pathogenic. Have you ever wondered where the huge quantity of sewage or urban wastewater is disposed of daily? It is treated with sewage plant and then it is disposed into the rivers. This cannot be discharged into the natural water bodies like rivers and streams directly. You can understand why. Before disposal, Hence, sewage is treated in sewage treatment plants (STPs) to make it less polluting. Treatment of wastewater is done by heterotrophic microbes naturally present in the sewage. This treatment is carried out in 2 stages. So ये treatment में naturally occurring heterotrophic microbes का इस्तेमाल करके सीवेज ट्रीटमेंट किया जाता है. सो प्राइमरी ट्रीटमेंट है इसमें और सेकेंडरी ट्रीटमेंट है. दिस ट्रीटमेंट these treatment steps basically involve physical removal of particles large and small from the sewage through filtration and sedimentation. So these treatment steps basically involve physical removal of particles. Physically remove करना जैसे large and small particles from the sewage through filtration and sedimentation. Sedimentation में क्या होता है कि sewage without disturbing पड़ा हुआ है ऐसे ही विदाउट डिस्टर्बिंग वो ऐसे ही पड़ा हुआ है. तो क्या होगा, जो भी हैवी ऑब्जेक्ट हैवी सब्सटेंसेस है वो पूरी नीचे सेटल हो जाते हैं. सो दीज आर रिमूव्ड इन स्टेजेस. Initially, floating debris is removed by sequential filtration. So filtration sedimentation होता है. These are removed in stages. Initially, floating debris is removed by sequential filtration. Then the grit, soil, and pebbles are removed by sedimentation. All solids that settle from the form the primary sludge. The supernatant forms the effluent. The effluent from the primary settling tank is taken for secondary treatment. तो primary treatment में क्या होता है, large and small physical removal of particles large and small from the sewage to filtration sedimentation. These are removed in stages. Initially, floating debris is removed by sequential filtration. Then the grit, soil, and pebbles are removed by sedimentation. All solids that settle form the primary sludge, and the supernatant forms the effluent. The effluent from the primary settling tank is taken for secondary treatment. The effluent from the primary settling tank is taken for secondary treatment. The effluent from primary settling tank is taken for secondary treatment. अब secondary treatment और biological treatment क्या है? The primary effluent is passed into large aeration tanks. Primary effluent को किस में पास किया है? Large aeration tank. Large aeration tank where it is constantly agitated mechanically and air is pumped into it. यहाँ पे हम ना एरोबिक बैक्टीरिया को एक्टिवेट कर रहे हैं, तो इसलिए लार्ज एरेशन टैंक यूज़ किए ताकि इसको एयर दे सकें, पंप कर सकें, और इसको मैकेनिकली एजिटेट कर रहे हैं. दिस अलोज वेरियस ग्रोथ ऑफ यूजफुल एरोबिक माइक्रोब्स इनटू फ्लॉक्स. फ्लॉक्स मतलब masses of bacteria associated with fungal filaments. Masses of bacteria associated with fungal filaments to form mesh-like structures. Masses of bacteria associated with fungal filaments to form a mesh-like structures. While growing, these microbes consume the major part of the organic matter in the effluent. This significantly reduces the BOD, biological oxygen demand of the effluent. BOD refers to the amount of oxygen that would be consumed if all the organic matter in 1 liter of water was oxidized by bacteria. The sewage water is treated till the BOD is reduced. See, biological treatment या secondary treatment में क्या होता है? The primary effluent is primary effluent क्या है? All solids that settle form the primary sludge. All solids that primary treatment में all solids that settle from the primary sludge and the supernatant forms the effluent. The effluent from the primary settling tank is taken for secondary treatment. Secondary treatment is also called biological treatment. The primary effluent is passed into large aeration tanks where it is mechanically agitated and air is pumped into it. This follows vigorous growth of useful aerobic microbes into flocks. Flocks is masses of bacteria associated with fungal filaments to form mesh-like structures. While growing, these microbes consume the major part of the organic matter in the effluent. This significantly reduces the BOD, biochemical oxygen demand of the effluent. Biochemical oxygen demand है effluent का. BOD refers to the amount of oxygen that would be consumed if all the organic matter in 1 liter of water were oxidized by bacteria. 1 लीटर के पानी में जितना भी ऑर्गेनिक मैटर है बैक्टीरिया ऑक्सीडाइज कर रही है, तो कितना ऑक्सीजन डिमांड है उसका, कितना ऑक्सीजन ले रही है, तो उसको बोलते हैं BOD. द सीवेज वाटर इज ट्रीटेड टिल द BOD इज रेड्यूस्ड. पहले क्या होगा, BOD बहुत हाई हो जाएगा, उसके बाद जैसे जैसे ऑर्गेनिक वेस्ट ख़त्म होते जा रहा है BOD कम हो जाएगा. The BOD test measures the rate of uptake of oxygen by microorganisms in a sample of water. Rate of uptake of oxygen by microorganisms in a sample of water, and thus indirectly BOD is the measure of organic matter present in water. The greater the BOD of wastewater, greater is it is polluted. More is its potential, polluting potential. जितना ज़्यादा BOD उतना ज़्यादा ऑर्गेनिक मैटर उतना ही ज़्यादा उसका pollution है. मतलब once the BOD of sewage or wastewater is reduced significantly, the effluent is then passed into a settling tank. The bacteria flocks are allowed to sediment. So once the BOD of sewage or wastewater is reduced significantly, एक बार BOD significantly कम हो गया, so once the BOD of sewage or wastewater is reduced significantly, the effluent is then passed into a settling tank where the bacterial flocks are allowed to sediment. Once BOD कम हो गया, wastewater of sewage or wastewater is reduced significantly, the effluent is then passed into a settling tank. तो कहाँ पे गया effluent? Settling tank. The effluent is then passed into a settling tank where the bacterial flocks are allowed to sediment. This sediment is called activated sludge. A small part of the activated sludge is pumped back into the aeration tank to serve as inoculum. The remaining major part of the sludge is pumped into large tanks called anaerobic sludge digesters. Here other kinds of bacteria which grow anaerobically digest the bacteria and the fungi in the sludge. During this digestion, bacteria produce a mixture of gases such as methane, hydrogen sulfide and carbon dioxide. These gases form biogas and can be used as source of energy as it is inflammable. These gases form biogas and can be used as source of energy as it is inflammable. Form biogas and can be used as source of energy as it is inflammable. The effluent from the secondary treatment plant is generally released into natural water bodies like rivers and streams. An aerial view of such a plant is shown in the figure. So this one is the aerial view. You can see how roughly a sewage treatment plants look is this one. Okay, you can appreciate how microbes play a major role in treating millions of gallons of wastewater every day across the globe. This methodology has been practiced for more than a century now in almost all parts of the world. Till date, no man-made technology has been able to rival the microbial treatment of sewage. Okay, so it is all done by microbes. First is aerobic microbes, then anaerobic microbes. Anaerobic microbes grow in which tank? Anaerobic sludge digesters. There is a large tank, anaerobic sludge digesters, because there is activated sludge is there. What is activated sludge? Bacterial flocks allowed to sediment, and this sediment is called activated sludge. A small part of activated sludge is pumped back into aeration tank to serve as inoculum. Remaining part of the sludge is pumped into large tanks called anaerobic sludge digesters. In aeration tank, secondary biological treatment start. Now, you are aware that due to increasing urbanization, Sewage is being produced in much larger quantities than ever before. However, the number of sewage treatment plants has not increased enough to treat such large quantities. So the untreated sewage is often discharged directly into rivers, leading to the pollution and increase in waterborne diseases. The Ministry of Environment and Forest has initiated Ganga Action Plan and Yamuna Action Plan. It's called GAP and GAP, Ganga Action Plan and Yamuna Action Plan, to serve these major rivers of our country from pollution. Under these plans, it is proposed to build a large number of sewage treatment plants so that they only treat sewage may be discharged into the rivers. A visit to a sewage treatment plant situated in any part near you would be a very interesting and educating experience. So you have to visit a sewage treatment plant situated in any place near your area. It would be very interesting and educating experience. Microbes in production or biogas. So now let's talk about microbes in production of biogas. Of what biogas? Biogas is a mixture of gases containing predominantly methane होता है. सिर्फ मीथेन नहीं होता, लेकिन मेजॉरिटी मीथेन ही होता है. Produced by the microbial activity and which may be used as fuel. You have learned that microbes produce different types of gases and products during growth and metabolism. The type of the gas produced depends upon the microbes and the organic substances they utilize. The type of the gas produced depends upon the microbes and the organic substrates they utilize. तो किसके ऊपर डिपेंड करता है कि कौन सा गैस बनेगा? Type of microbe depends on the microbe and organic substrates they utilize. In the example cited in relation to fermentation of dough, cheese making and the production of beverages, the main gas produced was carbon dioxide. In the example cited in relation to fermentation of dough, cheese making and production of beverages, the main gas produced was carbon dioxide. The type of the gas produced depends upon the microbes and the organic substrates they utilize. In the examples cited in relation to fermentation of dough, cheese making and production of beverages, the main gas produced was carbon dioxide. So this type of gas produced depends upon the microbe. The type of gas produced depend upon the microbe and organic substrates they utilize. जैसे कि in the example cited in relation to fermentation of dough, cheese making and production of beverages, मेन गैस क्या था? कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड. ठीक है, यहाँ पे सबस्ट्रेट कोई शुगर था, जैसे डव, चीज़ मेकिंग, इडली, वो सब था. However, certain bacteria which go anaerobically on cellulosic material produce large amounts of methane along with carbon dioxide and hydrogen H2. This यहाँ पे हाइड्रोजन सल्फाइड H2S नहीं बन रहा, H2 बन रहा, CO2 and methane. These bacteria are collectively called methanogens, जो anaerobically सेलोसिक मटेरियल को डाइजेस्ट करती हैं, उस पर ग्रो करती हैं और मीथेन कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड H2 गैस लिबरेट करती है, उन्हें मिथेनोजेंस बोलता है. एंड वन सच कॉमन बैक्टीरियम इज मिथानोबैक्टीरियम. कौन सा है? मिथानोबैक्टीरियम. एग्जाम्पल दिया मिथानोबैक्टीरियम. These bacteria are commonly found in anaerobic sludge during sewage treatment. Anaerobic sludge digesters में होती हैं, वो लार्ज टैंक्स में ये anaerobic बैक्टीरिया होते हैं. These bacteria are also present in the rumen, a part of stomach of cattle. Rumen के में भी होता है. Rumen क्या है? Part of stomach of cattle. A lot of cellulosic material present in the food of cattle is also present in the rumen. In rumen, these bacteria help in the breakdown of cellulose and play an important role in the nutrition of cattle. कैसे? हेल्प इन द ब्रेकडाउन ऑफ सेलोस को ब्रेकडाउन करने में हेल्प करती है एंड इम्पॉर्टेंट रोल इन न्यूट्रिशन ऑफ कैटल. डू यू थिंक वी ह्यूमन बींग्स आर एबल टू डाइजेस्ट द सेलोस present in our foods? No. Thus the excreta dung, commonly called gobar is rich in these bacteria. Gobar are rich in these bacteria. So methane gas is also called gobar gas or biogas. So do you think we human beings are able to digest the cellulose present in our foods? No, we cannot digest. Thus the excreta dung of cattle, commonly called gobar, is rich in this bacteria. Dung can be used for generation of biogas, commonly called gobar gas. तो हम बायोगैस बना सकते हैं और कॉमनली बायोगैस को गोबर गैस भी बोलते हैं. द बायोगैस प्लांट कंसिस्ट ऑफ अ कॉन्क्रीट टैंक. ये कॉन्क्रीट टैंक क्या है, 10 to 15 मीटर डीप है. कॉन्क्रीट टैंक का कितना, 10 to 15 मीटर डीप, in which biowaste are collected and a slurry of dung is fed. Biowaste रहता है, slurry of dung. A floating cover is placed over the slurry. कैसा कवर, एक फ्लोटिंग कवर होता है, स्लरी के ऊपर होता है, which keeps on rising as the gas is reduced in the tank due to microbial activity. It keeps on rising as the gas is produced in the tank due to microbial activity. The biogas plant has an outlet which is connected into a pipe to supply biogas to nearby houses. So which keeps on rising as the gas is produced in the tank due to the microbial activity. The biogas plant has an outlet which is connected to a pipe to supply biogas to nearby houses. This spent slurry is removed to another outlet and may be used as fertilizers. Cattle dung is available in large quantities in rural areas where cattle are used for a variety of purposes. So biogas plants are more often built in rural areas. The biogas thus produced is used in कुकिंग एंड लाइटिंग में भी, सिर्फ कुकिंग, लाइटिंग भी जब उजाला रहेगा तभी तो उसमें खाना बना पाएंगे. सो द पिक्चर ऑफ अ बायोगैस प्लांट इज शोन इन फिगर 10.8. The technology of biogas production was developed in India mainly due to the efforts of IARI, Indian Agriculture Research Institute, and Khadi and Village Industrial Commission, KVIC. If your school is situated in a village or near a village, it would be very interesting to inquire if there are any biogas plant nearby. Visit the biogas plant and learn more about it from people who are actually managing it. So this is a gas holder. You can see in the diagram, gas is coming out of the outlet. It's coming out and that is biogas is coming out, gas holder, and the sludge is there. This is called digester. This is for slurry and dung and bio-waste we had, that is inlet. So it was only due to the efforts of IARI and KVIC. IARI is Indian Agriculture Research Institute and KVIC is Khadi Village Industrial Commission. Now microbes in biocontrol agents. Biocontrol refers to the use of biological methods for controlling plant diseases such as pests in modern society. These problems have been tackled increasingly by the use of chemicals, by the use of insecticides and pesticides. So biocontrol refers to the use of biological methods for controlling plant diseases and pests In modern society, these problems have been tackled, increasing the use of chemicals by use of insecticides and pesticides. So, chemicals by use of insecticides and pesticides. These chemicals are toxic and extremely harmful to human beings and animals alike, and have been polluting our environment, soil, groundwater, fruits, vegetables, and crop plants. Our soil is also polluted through our use of weedicides to remove weeds. So we are using weedicide, insecticide, pesticide. These are causing harm. These are toxic. They are extremely harmful to human beings and animals alike, and have been polluting our environment, soil, groundwater, fruits, vegetables, and crop pollutants. Our soil is also polluted through our waste, our use of weedicides and remove weeds. Now, biological control of pests and diseases. In agriculture, there is a method of controlling pests that reflects on natural predation. That reflects on natural biological control of pest and disease. In agriculture, there is a method of controlling pests that relies on natural predation rather than introduced chemicals. In agriculture, there is a method of controlling pests that relies on natural predation rather than introduced chemicals. A key belief of the organic farmer is that biodiversity furthers health. The more variety a landscape has, the more sustainable it is. The organic farmer therefore works to create a system where the insects that are sometimes called pests are not eradicated but instead are kept in manageable levels by a complex system of checks and balances within a living and vibrant ecosystem. Contrary to the conventional farming practices, which often often use chemical methods to kill both useful and harmful and life forms indiscriminately. This is a holistic approach. हमारे मोदी जी बोलते हैं ना, होलिस्टिक तरीके से हम डेवलपमेंट करेंगे, होलिस्टिक. So this is a holistic approach that seeks to develop an understanding of the webs of interaction between the myriad of organisms that constitute the field fauna and flora. The organic farmer holds the view that the eradication of the creatures that are often they are often described as pests is not only possible but also undesirable, for without them the beneficial predatory and parasitic insects which depend upon them as food or host would not be able to survive. Thus, the use of biocontrol measures will greatly reduce our dependence on toxic chemicals and pesticides. An important part of the biological farming approach is to become familiar with the various life forms that inhabit the field. Predators are as well as pests, and also the life cycle patterns of feeding and the habitats that they prefer. This will help develop appropriate means of biocontrol. Okay. Now, the very familiar beetle with red and black markings, the ladybird and dragonflies, are used to get rid of aphids and mosquitoes respectively. So, लेडी बर्ड क्या करती है, एफिड्स को खाती है. लेडी बर्ड पे क्या है कि एक बीटल है, बर्ड नहीं है, बीटल है, विद रेड एंड ब्लैक मार्जिन्स है इस पर. और ड्रैगन फ्लाइज मस्किटोज को कंट्रोल करता है. एन एग्जाम्पल ऑफ माइक्रोबियल बायो कंट्रोल एजेंट्स. Examples of microbial biocontrol agents that can be introduced in order to control butterfly caterpillars is the bacteria Bacillus. Introduced in order to control butterfly caterpillars is the bacteria Bacillus thuringiensis, often written as BT. So, example of microbial biocontrol agents that can be introduced in order to control butterfly caterpillars is the bacteria Bacillus thuringiensis, often written as BT. These are available in sachets as dry spores which are mixed with water and spread out onto vulnerable plants such as brassicas and fruit trees. So Bacillus thuringiensis के क्या होते हैं, बीटी के स्पोर्स होते हैं, उसको पानी में मिक्स करके spread onto vulnerable plants such as brassica and fruit trees, where these are eaten by the insect larvae in the gut of the larvae. The toxins is released and then larvae get unharmed. The bacterial diseases will kill the where they are eaten by insect larvae. In the gut of larvae, the toxin is released and the larvae get killed. The bacterial disease will kill the caterpillars but leave other insects unharmed. Because of the development of methods of genetic engineering in the last decade or so, the scientists have introduced B. thuringiensis toxin genes into plants. Such plants are resistant to attack by insect pests. BT cotton is one of the such examples, which is being cultivated in some sites of our country. BT cotton is one such example which is being cultivated in some states of our country. We'll learn more about this in chapter 12. A biological control being developed for use in the treatment of plant diseases, fungus Trichoderma. Trichoderma species are free-living fungi that are very common in the root ecosystem. They are effective biocontrol agents of several plant pathogens. Baculoviruses are pathogens that attack insects, other arthropods. So Trichoderma is a fungus, and these are free living. They are very common in the root ecosystems. They are effective biocontrol agents for several plant pathogens. Baculovirus. So baculoviruses are pathogens that attack insects and other arthropods. So a biological control being developed for use of the treatment of plant disease in the fungus Trichoderma. Trichoderma species are free-living fungi that are very common in the root ecosystem. The effective biocontrol agents for several plant pathogens. Baculoviruses are pathogens that attack insects and other arthropods. The majority of baculoviruses used as biological control agents are in the genus Nucleopolyhedrovirus. These viruses are excellent candidates for species-specific narrow-spectrum insecticidal application. They have been shown to have no negative impacts on plants, mammals, birds, and fish, or even on non-target insects. This is especially desirable when beneficial insects are being conserved to aid in an overall integrated pest management IPM program, or when an ecologically sensitive area is being treated. So once again, The very familiar beetle with red and black markings, the ladybird and dragonflies, are useful to get rid of aphids and mosquitoes, respectively. An example of microbial biocontrol agents that can be introduced in order to control butterfly caterpillars is the bacteria Bacillus thuringiensis, often written as BT. These are available in sachets as dry spores, which are mixed with water and sprayed onto vulnerable plants such as brassicas and fruit trees, where these are eaten by the insect larvae. In the gut of the larvae, the toxin is released and the larvae get killed. The bacterial disease will kill the caterpillars but leave other insects unharmed. Because of the development of methods of genetic engineering in the last decades or so, the scientists have introduced B. thuringiensis toxins genes into plants. Such plants are resistant to attack by insect pests. Bt cotton is one such example, which is being cultivated in some states of our country. You will learn more about in chapter 12. In biotechnology, you'll learn about this. Biological control being developed for use in the treatment of plant disease is the fungus Trichoderma. Trichoderma species are free living or symbiotic free living fungi that are very common in the root ecosystems. Where root ecosystem or shoot ecosystem, root ecosystem, the effective biocontrol agents of several plant pathogens. Baculoviruses are pathogens that attack insects and other arthropods. The majority of baculoviruses used as biological control agents are in genus Nucleopolyhedrovirus. These viruses are excellent candidates of species-specific narrow-spectrum insecticidal application. They have been shown to have no negative impacts on plants, mammals, birds, fish, or even on non-target insects. This is especially desirable and beneficial insects are being conserved to aid in an overall program to aid in an overall integrated pest management IPM program, or when an ecologically sensitive area is being treated. Now, microbes as biofertilizers. With our present day lifestyles, environmental pollution is a major cause of concern. Environmental pollution, the cause of chemical fertilizers to meet the ever increasing demand of agricultural produce has contributed significantly to this pollution. So the use of chemical fertilizers to meet the ever increasing demand of agricultural produce has contributed significantly to the pollution. Of course, we have now realized that there are problems associated with the overuse of chemical fertilizers. There is a large pressure to switch to organic farming. The use of biofertilizers. Biofertilizers are organisms that enrich the nutrient quality of the soil. We have studied about the nodules on the root of leguminous plants formed by the symbiotic association of rhizobium. Biofertilizers are organic organisms that enrich the nutrient quality of the soil. The main sources of biofertilizers are bacteria, fungi, cyanobacteria. We have studied about the nodules on the root of leguminous plants formed by the symbiotic association of rhizobium. These bacteria fix atmospheric nitrogen into organic forms, which is used by plants as nutrient. Other bacteria can fix atmospheric nitrogen while free living in the soil. Example: Azospirillum and Azotobacter. These bacteria can fix atmospheric nitrogen while free living in the soil. फ्री लिविंग में ये नाइट्रोजन एटमॉस्फेयर नाइट्रोजन सॉइल में फिक्स करते हैं दैट एनरिच द नाइट्रोजन कंटेंट ऑफ द सॉइल. Azospirillum and Azotobacter. Fungi are also known to form symbiotic association with plants. Mycorrhiza. Many members of the genus Glomus form mycorrhiza. कौन सा genus? Glomus form mycorrhiza. The fungal symbiont in this association absorb phosphorus from soil Fungal symbiont in this association absorb phosphorus, means glomus will absorb phosphorus from the soil and passes it to the plant. Plants having such association show other benefits also, such as resistance to root-borne pathogens, tolerance to salinity and drought, and an overall increase in plant growth and development. Can you tell what advantage the fungus derives from this association? Of course, it will get food, shelter, and everything. Cyanobacteria are autotrophic microbes widely distributed in aquatic and terrestrial environments, many of which can fix atmospheric nitrogen. Example: Anabaena, Nostoc, Oscillatoria, etc. In paddy fields, cyanobacteria serve as an important biofertilizer. Blue-green algae also add organic matter to soil and increases its fertility. Blue-green algae also add organic matter to the soil and increases its fertility. Blue-green algae also add organic matter to the soil and increases its fertility. Currently in our country, a number of biofertilizers are available commercially in the market, and farmers use this regularly in their fields to replenish soil nutrients and to reduce dependence on chemical fertilizers. So Azotobacter and Azospirillum are free-living nitrogen fixing bacteria, and mycorrhiza symbiotic association with plants. Many members of the genus Clomus from mycorrhiza. Fungal symbionts in this association absorb phosphorus from the soil, passes to the plant. Pinus. Plants having such association show the benefits like resistant to root-borne diseases, resistant to salinity and drought, tolerance to salinity and drought, and overall increase in the growth of the plants. Cyanobacteria, they are autotrophic, widely distributed in aquatic and terrestrial habitats. Terrestrial environments can fix atmospheric nitrogen. Anabaena, Nostoc, Oscillatoria, etc. Paddy fields, cyanobacteria serve as important biofertilizer. Blue-green algae also add organic matter to the soil and increases fertility. Currently in our country, these biofertilizers are available commercially in the market, and farmers use this regularly in their fields to replenish soil nutrients and to reduce dependence on the chemical fertilizers. Thank you.